Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the meeting of the Southern Planning Committee. We are not expecting a fire drill today. In the event of the alarm sounding, please leave the building and gather out at the front of the building. I would like to inform you that this meeting is being live streamed and recorded. But I also ask you please to ensure all mobile phones are switched off. In order that those watching and live stream know who is speaking, the members being officers please introduce themselves. To ensure members of the committee and all points raised by the public speakers are properly heard, I must advise you I will not tolerate any disruptive behaviour. This is a meeting held in public and not a public meeting. And if such behaviour takes place after this, I will adjourn the meeting. I will now ask members of the committee to introduce themselves. Thank you.
Councillor Ed Potter, Luton Division.
Councillor Christian Lee, Councillor for Bridge North East, and that's the others.
Councillor Caroline Bagnall, Councillor for Broseley.
Nigel Lumley, Councillor for Alls Right.
Councillor Hilary Luff, Councillor for Chepstow and Craven Arms.
Councillor Robert Tindall, representing Brian Keegan. Andy Boddington, Councillor for Nuttall North.
Bernie Starr, Planning Officer. Louise Evans, Principal Planning Officer.
Nick Hignett, Councillor for Way Valley.
Charlotte Morrison, Development Manager.
David Evans, Councillor for Church and Craven Arms, and I'll do chair this committee.
Beatrice Iqbal, Solicitor. Tim Warwick, Committee Officer.
Thank you. We now have apologies for absence. The only apology I got is from Tony Parsons. Are there any others, please?
No others, Chair.
No, thank you. To confirm the minutes of the meeting held. Confirm the minutes of the meeting held on May the 21st. Please have a proposal for the minutes, please. Thank you. Second for that. Thank you. All in favour? Thank you. Public questions, none received. Disclosure of pecuniary interest, please. Anybody got the interest? Yep. Okay. Item number 5, proposed residential dwelling south of Fleetwood, Shrewsbury. Charlie.
So this is what we visited this morning. There are 2 proposed reasons for refusal. One, based on the fact it's a new open market dwelling outside any sustainable location, and the second, the dwelling and infrastructure and paraphernalia will be a jarring domestic built form. Both those reasons are outlined in the report.
Thank you. Right, I believe I have speakers on here. Alan Hodges, please. We speak on behalf of the Sponsorship Parish Council. I have 3 minutes to address the committee. The right hand button on the microphone, please.
Shrewsbury Parish Council has always recognised the importance of CS5 in safeguarding its countryside character and has very rarely supported development in the parish which is outside the development boundary. This application attracts our support because of the age profile of our parish and the considerable support shown for single-storey dwellings when producing its neighbourhood plan. The parish has a significantly higher percentage than the national average. 2 housing surveys, one by Shropshire Council, the other done by the neighbourhood planner, highlighted the need for single-storey dwellings. For example, 227 respondents to the neighbourhood plan stated a bungalow would be their first choice for new housing. Yet no single-storey building has been erected in Pleely Conservation Area for very many years, probably not for the last 25. Even worse, about 150 new houses have been built in nearby Ponsbury Village in the last few years. Unbelievably. How many do you think of those are bungalows? Unbelievable, shocking. 1. out of 150. Yet we have a national crisis. We have an even worse situation with regard to an aged population and virtually no bungalows. Totally unacceptable in the view of the parish council. Clearly, conservation area is acknowledged in the neighbourhood plan as one of the outstanding heritage assets in the parish. This contemporary attractive house design makes good use of traditional materials, slate, stone and timber, to echo neighbouring properties, e.g. Red House Barn. Also, its ample glazing is similar to the most recently constructed house in the conservation area. Well screened by boundary hedges and existing barn, the dwelling will sit unobtrusively on the edge of the built environment with no significant impact on nearby listed buildings or character conservation area. Contrary to the case officer's opinion, the proposed development sits away from the protected viewpoint so that it will not interfere with the angle of vision or key features of the view. I hope I know that. I was responsible for it. Neither will it interfere with the highlighted views as contained in the conservation appraisal. Cited to replace, as you will have seen, unsightly redundant poultry sheds, the proposal will bring environmental gain. Contrary to the recent inspector's view, Shropshire Planning Department decided on at least 2 occasions in the past that Clearly is a sustainable location when approving applications. Finally, the case officer suggests sensibly leaving the Dutch barn in its present position, which the applicants are happy with.
Thank you, sir. Any questions? Yep. Thank you very much. Any questions on Councillor Roger Evans, please? The local member, and he has 5 minutes to address the committee. Thank you, Roger.
Thank you, Chairman. It's good to see you today.
Thank you.
I am a member of the parish council and a resident of Clearly, living just outside the actual conservation area, but not adjacent to this proposed site. Clearly is an active community interested in and very much looks after the character of the village and are fully supportive of its conservation status. Members will note no one has sent in any comments expressing their concern about this application. This is also true of all the Shropshire Council consultees, including heritage, archaeology, trees. In fact, our highways consultants in particular note that the safety of walkers would be improved by the better visibility that is proposed. The parish council, as do I, the local member, are fully supportive of the application. I note the statement of the main issues that were thought relevant to a building at this location, according to the Appeal Inspector's report in December 2021. In his opinion, the main issues were appropriateness of a new dwelling, having 1, regard to accessibility to local services and employment, and 2, the effect to the character and appearance of the host building and wider area. He made reference to policy CS1, but does not mention our agreed need for a rural rebalance. This includes ensuring that around 35% of Shropshire's residential development over the planned period is in rural areas. He does, however, mention CS5 about protecting the countryside. This proposal does, plus helping meet policy CS1, and is for the erection of a very modest 2-bedroom bungalow. The speed limit through Clearly is 60 miles an hour, and, as already mentioned, the proposed improvements to the existing access, which is on the outside of the bend, will give improved visibility for walkers. Policy CS5 is there to protect the countryside, and yes, this policy is welcomed, but it includes a statement that proposals on appropriate sites which enhance the vitality and character may be permitted. Regarding MD13, CS6 and CS17, covering Shropshire's heritage assets and the need to protect, conserve and sympathetically enhance them, no concerns on these issues are raised by any consultees. This both satisfies the criteria and helps meet the needs of the parish and other rural areas for modest-sized bungalows. Pressing need, as stated in the parish council submission. Included in the application is a retention of what many consider is an important feature, the Dutch barn. This is referred to in the heritage statement as a non-designated asset. It does form part of the village, an important part of the village, showing how it has altered over the years. The planning inspector, hearing the appeal, does note there was public support for the proposal. This does not, of course, always happen, especially in conservation areas. I note the recent appeal decision of another planning inspector regarding an appeal site in Hinton Lane, Ponsbury. Note was made at that the site was within walking distance of Ponsbury, where there are many shops and eateries. These include a baker's, 2 supermarkets, chemist, doctor's surgery, post office, cafe restaurants, and 2 schools. Most everyday items can be obtained within walking distance. I do note the comment about the time to access shopping facilities, and I am puzzled by the quoted time of 3 hours. There is, of course, also, and if needed, a regular and well-used popular bus service into Shrewsbury. Whilst from London, again, just a short walk away, is an on-demand bus direct to Shrewsbury and also to the Meal Brace Retail Park, which have large mainstream shops. In summary, the proposal is of a scale that does reflect the historical development of the village. The layout and design of the dwelling reflects those in the surrounding area. The heritage assets, both designated and non-designated, have retained their settings and any significance that they hold. It is also, of course, helps supply and satisfy the need for more bungalows. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Roger. Any questions, please? No, thank you very much. And Paul Middleton, please. Have you had 3 minutes to address the committee, please?
Thank you. The application site can clearly be classed as previously developed land by virtue of existing agricultural buildings within the farm-based setting. The proposed dwelling has been shown on the site of the existing agricultural buildings, and its design has been influenced by them being of single-storey nature with opposing monopitch roofs and vertical boarded wall finishes. The dwelling is modest in scale and has an internal floor area of 154 metres squared, which is far less than the figure quoted in the officer report. Our proposals also include the conversion of non-designated heritage asset steel barn, and this has been sensitively detailed to provide a garage store for the proposed dwelling. If it did need to be removed from the application, then that is acceptable. The proposal also, the scheme has been assessed and commented on by the eminent and respected historic buildings consultant Sir Richard Morris. The inclusion of the Dutch barn is of heritage value, and its retention contributes to the setting of the older farm buildings and the farmstead. He further adds that the proposals, the replacement of the partly derelict shed by a new dwelling and the conversion of Dutch barn to a garage and store are well designed and proportionate. Both the contemporary style, new build, and Dutch barn conversion have been positively reviewed by Karen Rolfe in Conservation, and she has no objections on design or heritage grounds. The settlement of Cleely does not contain services of its own, but is located a short distance from Ponsbury, where a wide range of services, facilities, and public transport links are located. Paragraph 55, the MPPF advises that housing should be located where it will enhance and maintain the vitality of rural communities. Where there are groups of small settlements, developments in one village may support services in a village nearby. In this instance, it is the proximity of Ponsbury which makes the site sustainable, as it would avoid an over-reliance on long journeys by motor car. Clearly has been accepted as sustainable settlement by Shropshire Council previously by virtue of approved new houses, which have since been constructed and have added the vitality of the village. The application has been supported by the Parish Council along with local residents, with no objections from any quarter being received. This includes all consultees. The existing vehicle access that serves the farmstead and adjacent dwellings has been reviewed by the highway consultees, and they have no objection. Traffic speeds through Cleely are very low, and the existing access is wide enough to accommodate 2 cars, one be entering and one leaving. A responsibility towards sustainable heating and power is now required in the design involved with this in mind. The larger the monopitch roofs is southwest facing to allow for solar PV panels, and the adjacent field allows for ground source heating to be installed. Both of these measures will enable the dwelling to be sustainable and not reliant on fossil fuels. The proposal is considered to represent sustainable development where the benefits of the proposal outweigh any potential harm. As such, the proposal is considered to accord with the requirements of the MPPF together with policies CS6, CS17 and 18 and the core strategy. I would respectfully ask that the committee view it positively and approve it.
Thank you. Any questions, please? Yeah, thank you very much, sir. So, councillor Lott, please.
Right, thank you, Chair. I went on the site visit this morning, and this application does put me in some kind of a quandary. It's very much supported by the parish council and by the local member, but in every other sense, it goes against all our planning regulations. And I am really concerned, as it's going to be on the open market and not an affordable, that we're setting ourselves up, if we were to approve it, for allowing open housing in other areas, and that might come. They may come forward more often. I would wish that it had been an affordable house. It could be a lot better, but the siting is really good. It's not really protected from the views. The access is good. So in many ways, it does tick so many boxes, but it's not affordable, and that does really concern me. So I will be very interested to hear what the other members have to say about it.
Councillor Tindall, please.
I might have missed them, but have we had the architectural designs up?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. I would like to comment on the option before that. Paragraph number 2 on page 7. Just the choice of words which concerns me. The proposed dwelling and associated infrastructure and paraphernalia would be a jarring new domestic built form. Well, that is, I think, very subjective. I, as you know, adore Shindigate, and this one has a lot like. So I won't deduct too many marks to that. But I think actually it is a nice design. I know that's me being subjective, but the local member, I think, also raised this quite clearly that the design is acceptable. And the fact that it's 2 bedrooms, is it? Yeah. I think is fulfilling a need that was amply demonstrated by the parish council. It is a departure from policy. On the other hand, we're not bound by precedent, and we're not binding future committee members on whether to allow this kind of development in the outside of the urban boundary. I would hesitate to call it open countryside. It's very much in the village, even if that's not a technical planning term. So I'm coming down on the side of the fence that says let's approve. Thank you, Chairman.
Councillor Potter, please.
Thank you very much, Chair. I know the location. I'm happy with the location. The fact there was previous buildings in the vicinity as well. I hear what people are saying about the market nature, although this is a small property. I see two and a bit bedrooms, is it? A study bedroom, which certainly fulfills the need in our rural areas. And I think I've said this before now, we have policies, but sometimes the policies aren't reflective of the need that we know in our areas, and we've heard from the parish council and the local member. Just on the open market element, am I right in thinking there has been a number of open market properties in Cleely over the last few years built? I can think of new builds, one on the corner and then 3 by the little hut with a tin roof, or was it 2 there? Are they open market? I think they were open market.
Yeah, I think as I'm.
Yeah, so there have been in recent years open market property built in Cleanly, but this is probably actually fulfilling the need that's established by parish council, local member through housing needs surveys, more than what has already been built. So I'm minded to support it.
Okay, Councillor Longer, please.
Yes, so last month I was one that said didn't need a site visit. I went to the site visit and I didn't gain much from it. I must admit. I'm going to say that. What it did show to me that it is actually right on the edge of the countryside. If you turn around and look, the beautiful countryside behind the proposed dwelling. And if you actually look at the map of it, it doesn't follow the building line. It juts out and does sort of impose into the countryside. I'm not sure one bungalow adds anything to Leeds needs, and so I have not seen a reason why I should go away from the officer's recommendation.
Councillor Bagman, please.
Do we have any photographs of the location of the site or any further images to help us? Could you help us with those photos?
No, we have been out to visit this morning.
I do appreciate that, but it's, I wasn't able to come for very important reasons. So
that's the gate we went to, I think, isn't it?
The actual bungalow is see the two sheds, the two rather than up on the left.
That's correct.
And you've got the big Dutch barn behind it. That's where the bungalow is going to go with those two sheds are. Stated that, but
There's another one, Tim, I think.
The first one was free.
So you can see the Dutch barn there. That's to be retained. And the bungalows proposed to be put in just behind that.
The ash tree, if I may say so, it's got ash dieback, and so it will have to be felled.
okay.
thank you.
Councillor Bogdan, the body thing, you want to pick that?
No, this and
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Councillor Hignett.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I live in Oswestry, of course, so I know this area quite well. I know the village, hamlet of Clearly. And yes, on the face of it, this does go against planning reasons as to why we should approve it, because it is outside the development area in Clearly. I think in a way this has come to committee because we have to decide whether there should be an exception made for a dwelling such as this. We take each planning application on its own merits, of course. On the plus side for this dwelling, it is unobtrusive, it's unobtrusive. It's on a small scale and it's certainly very sustainable by today's standards. Whether it's an exception to the rules is for members to decide, I think, but it does support the vitality clearly. And yes, it is only one bungalow, but if we're correct in what we've heard that there hasn't been a bungalow built for probably up to 20 or 25 years, then any bungalow that we can build that helps to support particular residents that wouldn't want to deal with stairs and that sort of thing, I think is to be welcomed. The design, I think, is fine. It is, when you look on the map as to where it's positioned in Clearly, it's adjacent to another dwelling, so I understand the comment, but it backs onto open countryside. But then if I had a house in Clearly, I would want one that backed onto open countryside as well. There have been no objections locally. So in my mind, with this particular application, I'm minded to support it. Thank you, Chair.
Councillor Tindall, please.
I think we've nearly all spoken on this matter. I would like to propose that we don't accept the fine. I'd like to propose that we give this application permission. I'm sure there's a better way of expressing it.
What do you propose? We go against the officer's recommendation, we approve the application.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you.
Most grateful to you.
Can I have a seconder for that, please? Councillor Potter. Right, would you like to take the results, please?
You want to say what?
We have a proposal to approve the application, contrary to officer recommendation. Please can you confirm whether you're for or against the proposal? Caroline Bagnall,
Against.
Andy Boddington.
Oh, point of order, Chair.
There's no reasons being given, so we need the reasons before we can say whether it's. Or not.
Sorry, I thought the reasons were given.
No, we've got no reasons yet.
Well, I would like to raise a point of order for myself and Nick to give our reasons why we were supporting. Sorry.
No, just steps. Do you want 3 a second? You want us to reiterate them?
Yeah.
Well, that was who's proposing.
Sorry, look,
I think
So I'm saying I'm seconding because it's part from the plan, but there is we know that open market housing has been built in completely within this plan period. There is an identified need as outlined by the parish council through the Shropshire Council Housing Survey and an additional survey, and it's adjacent to the settlement or within the settlement of Cleely on a site that has previously been used for development, and the fact that it's replacing agricultural buildings.
I just add one thing to that, because we delegate conditions to the opposite, please.
More than happy.
Okay?
all of them.
Yeah.
Or is there any particular conditions members want to have on there apart from the standard ones that we would put on?
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, we'll start the votes again. We have a proposal to approve the application, and please confirm whether you're for or against. Caroline Bagnall,
Against.
Andy Boddington,
For.
Nick Higgett,
For.
Richard Hoffman,
For.
Christian Lee,
For.
Hilary Love,
Against.
Nigel Longby,
Against.
Ed Hart, for Robert Tyndall,
For.
David Evans.
Four. Okay, 7 for, 3 against. Thank you. We then go to the next item on the agenda, is the dwelling northwest, but Pleasant View, Rowling, Shropshire.
Okay, thank you. Yes, we've got a reserve matters application for a pair of 2-bedroom properties, previously given permission by the committee against the recommendation. So it's in the settlement of Rowley, a small scale settlement on the edge of Shropshire there. Sorry, so as I said, we've got a pair of properties adjacent to the road. The access was dealt with at the outlying stage. So you can see there's a large tree on the corner of the site there. That's a semi-mature oak tree. You can go through the plans, Tim. So you can see there's red brick properties, stake style roof. There's conditions to deal with materials. Should permission be granted? And go through the proposals. Yeah, floor plans, 100 square metre properties. They're affordable dwellings covered by a Section 106 agreement that limits the. They're affordable by rent. They're rented properties. They're the maximum rental allowance according to the local housing allowance. So they're for 2-bedroom properties. We're looking at about £500 a month at this moment in time. And it's on a sloping site, so we can see the contours of the site there. There's some more plans about the cut and fill across the site. We'll carry on. Let's get into the site. But ultimately, we've got a recommendation of approval, subject to the conditions, with one outstanding matter that additional information to be submitted in relation to the tree works in relation to the access. And so officers would ask, could we have delegation, continue to have delegation for the conditions to deal with that matter. Yeah, it's currently a consultation with the tree officer, so we will be able to deal with that at a later stage. But ultimately, we've got a recommendation of approval for two-bedroom properties.
Thank you, Louise. We're now going to statement to read out by the solicitor from Heathergate. And for the Heathergate. Thank you, Chair.
I have always supported this application as it is much needed in the area. I do support the parish in suggesting these homes appear more rural and less urban, more cottage-like, and in keeping with the local vernacular would work well. I would like that delegated to officers.
Thank you. Maybe the speaker on this, Ben Embry, Jack Harris.
Just the right.
Yeah, go ahead. You bring it to the committee. Thank you.
It's Jack Harris from Base Architects, here to speak on behalf of the applicant, Gavin Williams. Firstly, thank you to the case officer for continued dialogue through the application. I think it ultimately led to a positive outcome in terms of the overall design and quality of the proposal. The principle has obviously been established at the outline application and need to accord with both local and national policy framework. All technical matters other than tree officer comments have been dealt with during the application process through the supply of additional information, and obviously the tree officer's comments then being conditioned or recommended to be dealt with by condition. Whilst comments have been raised by local council about the increase in size of the proposal, it does accord with the original conditions as per the original outline application. And is below the 100-metre square threshold that was set out in that initial approval. The potential for the proposed study to be used as a bedroom, something that came up during the application, and again that's been addressed and acknowledged through updates to the plans, showing this now as a dressing room with no direct access to the hallway. We do also feel that this is a bit of a moot point on the basis that the Section 106 agreement effectively caps the rental value and use of the dwelling as a two-bedroom dwelling. The additional area in the room can only really benefit the proposal and quality of the housing stock in the area by providing additional storage and additional space for the user. Concerns have been raised by the council regarding, so the parish, regarding the appearance of the proposal. In response, we feel that the dwelling represents a modest two-bedroom traditional dwelling with traditional brick detailing, heads, sills, and a central chimney on the proposal. We feel like this is fairly representative of the local area, which is largely made up of brick buildings, timber frame buildings, stone clad buildings, and renders. In general, it's very much of a similar size and of a similar setting from the roadside to what is seen in local vernacular, and it's very much been based upon that. Brick again has also been chosen as a low maintenance option, which I think really is a key consideration of an affordable dwelling on the basis of maintenance and continued use and the continued street presence for this building. In balance, we feel that there are no real material grounds for objection, and would like to ask that the officer's recommendation is taken forward for approval.
Thank you. Any questions, please? No? Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Everybody can please.
Thank you, Chair. When I looked at this, I saw this is really going to be a three-bedroom property. And then I thought, would I mind if each was three bedrooms? And the answer is no. And the reason for that is when we build an affordable house, they're nearly always built to two bedrooms. We have people who are desperate for three bedrooms because we have whole families in two-bedroom houses. And, you know, there are sort of three kids and two parents. And as they get older, that becomes totally impossible. So I thought, well, if it becomes three bedrooms, I don't really mind. So actually, I'm in favour of this, but I wish it had been a Liberal clear and it just said it was three bedrooms, because we need that sort of property.
I'm fully in favour of this.
The other speakers? Councillor please.
Yes, Chair, agree with the comments by the past speaker. Read the officer's report, quite happy with everything that's in it, and happy to propose following the officer's recommendation and grant permission subject to conditions set out in Appendix 1.
Thank you. You can second that, Councillor Butler?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we get proposal and recommendation, delegated conditions to the officers on this one again. So, you take the, please.
Thank you, Chair. Please can confirm whether you're for or against the proposal. Caroline Bagnall.
Or
Andy Waddington.
For,
Nick Higgins. For Richard Hoffer.
for,
Christian Lee.
for,
Hilary Love.
For,
Nigel Lundby.
For,
Ed Flatak. For Robert Tyndall.
for,
David Evans.
Or, that is unanimous, that's carried. Thank you. Now, go to item number 7, please. Test review, Meeting Lane, Meeting Kinlet.
An application for the change of use of land to domestic, demolition of an existing category building and the erection of a domestic outbuilding. The original category building is at the top of the site. There's a further plan that way. It's an L-shaped building there, and they're proposing to remove that building and then put a new building on top of it, which is the new outbuilding. And in doing so, that will then become part of domestic curtilage of this property. So, right, in relation to the plans, that's the existing building, and you can see that it's stepped down to take account of the levels. The new building is going to involve the land being reprofiled to raise it up to create a big platform to put the new outbuilding on. That is an illustrative view of an outbuilding, not the one that they're proposing, but something similar in terms of its design. And that's another one, just to show what type of building that the applicant's proposing to build. Right, so my recommendation, the officer's recommendation, is for reasons for refusing this on 4 grounds. Will I find my? The first ground is that the size of the building is excessive. Now, the existing footprint of the dwelling, having measured it, is sorry, I've done this before, so you have to bear with me. The existing dwelling is about 184 square metres in terms of its footprint, whereas the proposed building will be 178 square metres. The existing category is 107 square metres. And then on top of the building, you're also going to have some decking. The first reason for refusal is the scale and size of it. Second reason for refusal is that the appearance of this building, because of its excessive glazing, is tantamount to the erection of a new dwelling. The third reason is that it's going to be much more prominent in the sort of landscape in relation to the property above, which is a mobile home. To the north of that is, you can see part of the footprint of a mobile home. And the fourth reason is insufficient ecological information has been submitted in terms of a bat survey and also a biodiversity net gain.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak on this one? Councillor Bollington.
thank you, Chair. I don't feel comfortable with this proposal simply because I don't feel it's quite honest. This is a house. Let's be absolutely clear. This is not an occasional use, a gym or whatever. This is a house. And to be honest, I don't mind that. The design is modern. It's not in keeping with the existing buildings, but the existing buildings are really not very interesting. There is a plan to replace it, and if we see that, you know, the existing house and the replacement for that, this building, then we might understand it better. So I'm left in a bit of a dilemma on this. Now, if we had an interior design, so we know exactly what it's like, it's obviously got a loo because this will be connected to the septic tank. And you need a loo anyway in a building, so it's going to have that. Does it have a bathroom? Is it going to have division rooms, therefore one a bedroom, one a living room? This I don't know, and I think we need to know that. But in principle, I'm not against it, but I'm not comfortable with approving it when we have the current level of information. Thank you.
Yes, the officers report at 1, which is on page 40, sorry. The first reason for recommending refusal is the proposed domestic outbuilding, by virtue of its scale and size, is considered to be excessive, as it would not read as subordinate to the existing dwelling. I think that says it all. And I think if that is, obviously, that's the case, then I'm not happy with this application. Sorry, that's it. Would you like more? No. Come on.
Yeah, well, I echo the comments of other members of the committee. The size and scale, I think, is probably an issue for me. And again, it's the lack of information around the ecological side of things. Everybody else has to do this, so you know, it's important that we have a level playing field. So I'd be minded not to support the application.
Ollie, good.
I propose that we accept the officer recommendation and refuse this application.
I would second that. Okay, so we'll take the vote on that, please, for refusal, along with the officer's recommendation.
Thank you. Chair, please can we confirm whether you're for or against the proposal? And Caroline Bagnall?
For.
Andy Bunington?
For.
Nick Kicknick?
For.
Richard Hopper?
For.
Christian Lee?
For.
Henry Locke?
For.
Nigel Lomby?
For.
Ed Potter?
For.
Robert Tyndall?
For.
David Evans?
For. Unanimous, thank you. Then goes to schedule appeals and appeal decisions. I think you may be for noting, or is there something you like to say, Charlie? No?
No.
Thank you for noting, okay? Date to our next meeting is July the 23rd, Tuesday at 2 o'clock. Just like to thank everybody today for their input. Thank all the officers for their work on getting these applications put together. And I wish you all a safe journey. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow.